Welcome to Executive Insights for Life Sciences Innovators, and thanks for joining us. On this podcast, we'll explore leadership, innovation, and growth in the life sciences sector. I'm Don Alexander, founder of Gene Coda, a boutique executive search firm dedicated to connecting visionary leaders with life sciences companies shaping the future of therapeutics and scientific tools. On each episode, we'll dive into candid conversations with industry pioneers, uncovering strategies, insights, and real world experiences that drive success in our industry. If you're interested in presenting as a guest of a future episode, please scan the barcode image at the top of my video frame and follow the instructions. Now I'm pleased to be joined by Ayla Annac, the CEO of InvivoSciences. Welcome, Ayla.
Thank you, Dan, and I appreciate the opportunity for being your guest today.
Well, thank you very much. Ayla, CEO and president of InvivoSciences, has defied the odds as a female immigrant entrepreneur driven by a personal mission, inspired by the loss of her father to heart failure 34 years ago. She set out to transform heart failure drug development. Her journey began in 2001 when she joined forces with scientific founders Dr. Tetsuro Wakatsuki and Dr. Elliot Elson to launch InvivoSciences, a preclinical biotech company focused on heart failure and cardiometabolic precision medicine therapies. Under her leadership, the company has grown significantly over the past 3 years, leveraging its patented Concordia platform and human disease models enhanced by artificial intelligence. This innovation has enabled InvivoSciences to support the FDA, NIH, and academic labs through contract research, culminating in the discovery of IBS 201, a promising drug candidate for heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. Widely respected for her resilience and vision, Ayla is celebrated by her team as a transformative leader dedicated to innovation, adaptability, and shaping the future of precision medicine. When not running InvivoSciences, Ayla enjoys yoga, music, and researching ancient civilizations. So thank you again, Ayla, for being here. We'll dive right into your career journey and your leadership philosophy. So, Ayla, what inspired your journey from the corporate world to founding InvivoSciences?
I think you mentioned slightly in the beginning that loss of my father to the heart failure, age 53, and suddenly it was the point for me that I wanted to do something to bring him back. I couldn't bring him back, but I could bring others back, and not to go for the same fate, because his heart condition, he was taking supposedly a drug which wasn't helping, and it was his third heart attack. So the currently what I learned through his experience that the limitations of one size fits drug that is he has been using over years, and the many patients still has been using the similar drugs or a few more additions to that, and those drugs are geared upon a large number of population, and it is not really fitting the underlying causes or genetical reasons or combination factors of the patient has. It is not precise medicine, and it is not effective, and so the result is not really helping or healing the hearts. It is stopping the hearts. And that is where I've co-founded with the passion that I have, that is the feeling, the passion, me go meet with Dr. Wakatsuki and Dr. Elliot Elson, who has been in the field of science, is dedicated their lifetime to work on innovation and creating the products and services to be able to first, for example, three-dimensional cardiomyocytes in the first pioneering scientists that they had brought in, and then they integrated that science with the AI to be able to create a platform for precision medicine. And that way, we can no longer need to look for one drug for everybody, but we can actually bring the subpopulations to the clinical trials, and we can also find them. And while we are doing that, we have the drug at mind. So this is not a one step process, it is a simultaneous process. so drugs can be matched to the populations, just like in the cancer field. Cancer field uses heavily and successful the precision medicine, and that approach should be implemented in the heart failure area. And that is what we are trying to bring with our platform to the patients today.
That's fantastic, Ayla. It sounds like your personal experiences have really influenced your mission and vision for the company. Do you have any other observations about that?
Well, I think beyond the personal objective and goals and my loss of my father, I also met in the flight when we were going to a meeting a muscular dystrophy patient as a child, about 13 years old, with their parents, and it was a coincidence. And we were rehearsing our presentations. The parents were hearing what we are talking about, and the mother asked, "Can you do something about my son?" And the son looked like 6 years old, not 13 years old. The muscular dystrophy made his muscles collapse, and also he had a heart issue, and mother was desperate to know about any new research to help the son. And by knowing that you cannot help the patients that directly, but it gave me another boost, because heart failure is not just for adults or older people. It is about many segments, many variety of segments, and it has to be looked at precisely. So that, I think, emotional power is difficult for me not to do what I set myself to do. But also, I think the other part is a very, very small amount, or proportionately small amount, funding channeled into the heart failure development by the VC community in the last 11 years. And that is a fact by BioOrg. So it is disappointing. So I also was curious why. What can be done better to be able to bring the VC community back to the heart failure innovation, so that they are pioneering and putting and creating legacy in the drug development opportunity, because it is $31 billion opportunity and very limited therapies available. So these are the quite motivating factors with the big heart that I have with the patients. But you need more than a passionate heart. Lots of experts working together in this field.
Absolutely. It takes a village. What challenges have you faced as a female entrepreneur in biotech, and how have you navigated those?
I think it's a very good question, because women-led biotech innovation is a bit lag behind in the receiving investment. And as I said, in the last 11 years, only 3% or so, or maybe 5% went into cardiac innovation, drug development from the VC, because most went to Alzheimer and the cancer field. And that makes the precision medicine in cancer very, very robust and very attractive for investors, but not in the heart. And the second field, that amount of within those universe, their investment for the female-led biotech companies was very, very small. And so that's disappointing, because I think diversity brings the good teams and get the best expertise into the teams in collaboration. And when you don't get those good technologies, when the woman-led technologies doesn't receive any proportionate investment opportunities, and very little, that is concerning, because there are so many good woman-led companies, and they have lots of good men that works with them. So we have to consider the strength of the technology and the compelling data that they present, and not to ignore because some woman leader is in the charge. We have to look into the entire team, because diversity makes the things stronger. And I think in the future, collaboration will require more woman voices, because especially in heart failure preserved ejection area, more common presence in the woman. And other reason why they have to put a bit more woman leadership in, because woman health also as important as the male health, and it is a big money making industry, and there needs to be opportunities there needs to be explored and funded And because heart failure preserved ejection, which our core area of interest, is more common in the woman also, the cohorts when you are developing a drug, current almost cohorts are male mouse driven, and the data is coming from the current drugs that available is much more geared upon the what males or the male mouses that cohort developed data is giving, not for very specific for the female patient needs and their hormonal complications. And that makes it really more effective and successful, clinical trials needs to be considered that you need to bring your data geared upon that patient population that you are developing a drug for. And I hope that some female leaders will be in it and fund it because it is a very specific disease for the female population suffering as well. So it's just common sense, I think.
Absolutely. Ayla, that's great. Let's switch gears and dive into a little bit more about the technology, the platform. You've mentioned a few things so far, but can you explain how the Concordia platform works and its impact on drug development?
Yes, and Concordia platform is a precision medicine approach and initially developed by it's a developed three-dimensional microheart on a chip technology. And this platform, we call it New Heart, the initial driven from directly from patient. And you can actually take blood or urine sample and create a microheart tissue from the patient population. So it's a very simple layman concept that is integrated to this technology. And this also combines the AI assistant patient stratification diagnostic platform for precision medicine development. And what it makes it enrich the patient populations during the drug development and before you take them to the clinical trials, it actually enables which population should be brought into the clinical trial. So they do us simultaneously while they are developing the drugs. And these two platforms are integrated, and we called it Concordia, and that help us to identify our lead drug IVS 201 for heart failure preserved ejection fraction. And we are also working in the few other compounds in the pipeline, but the lead one that is under development and that needs to go to the FDA meet is IVS 201 currently.
That's fantastic. So it really sounds like it helps to stratify patient populations. How does the approach differ, I guess, from traditional methods you found in precision medicine?
I think the AI-driven patient certification is enrich clinical trial participant before clinical trial begins. This
Mhm.
is what we are offering. Currently, there's one drug fits all approach in the heart failure or cardiac drug development. That means that you have to bring 2,500 or more patient population to the clinical trials, and mostly last about a decade or so. The phase 3 clinical trials were failing in the heart failure area, and it's very expensive, and they are not meeting the endpoints. And I think that disheartened the patients and also dishearten the investors. They shy away to investing and losing money in a large scale and at a very late stage of the development. And the pharma partnership dissolve after that kind of a failure coming in. So what we are offering that you don't maybe need to do that very large population based care upon because you may also need to think that the heart failure, especially heart failure preserved ejection fraction disease, have lots of a variety of populations underlying and different drugs needs to be developed for those patients, the genetic composition, underlying comorbidities, like maybe they have a diabetic condition or they are male or female, that needs to be addressed into drug development. So, and you need to bring a matching population to increase the success rate of the clinical trials. When you do so, you, number one, reduce the failure rates because your success rate of approval during the clinical trials will increase, and maybe timing will be even faster, and you will speed the regulatory approval because FDA wants a precise data, more stronger data for uh, so showing the effect on the population you are targeting is much more better for FDA. They want to see that. They want to see the proof of it. And also, you are expanding market, not just one drug for everybody without looking at the underlying variability of those patients. You are bringing and expanding drugs to different variability and covering their needs and precisely, and that is cost effective. So you don't, waste the dollars on the drug that is not really helping, but you are putting the dollar into the smaller population and matching that drug help and heal. And this is similar to cancer field. Financial world see the successful investment in the cancer because of this reason. And now, as I said, in the cancer, you can take a biopsy and then test the drug. And it was a simple way of, using if the drug was helping the patient. But now you can create outside of the body your own heart tissue. And you can actually create the patient composition. And even you can do your digital twin in AI-driven patient modeling. And so through the data access to the patient records, and that is why the opportunities and possibilities is large. But we are, of course, when we are dreaming about big changes, we have to prove step by step. So we choose the drug area, heart failure preserved ejection fraction, because it's a very difficult field and very limited therapeutic options available, and variety is a lot, lots of large variety. So with our key drug, if we can prove these technologies and platforms effectiveness, and if we can also build our patient enrichment data for other heart failure areas. So that will be much more useful for many drugs coming out and open for collaborations because we are small. We cannot do much alone. We have to collaborate and partner, not only with investors, but with the people who has a like-minded expertise and see the vision for precision medicine and heart failure. And so we can work together to create this and make a successful drug so that things that doesn't happen like happened to my father.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great. Super overview. So, what emerging trends or other maybe emerging trends in precision medicine are you most excited about?
I think the most exciting one is for me is I said the precision medicine is becoming the new standard in the especially heart failure and cardiometabolic drugs. These are very complex fields and many people dedicated their lifetime. And I'm sure they know much more than I even know or think about this. But AI-driven patient modeling, as I said, allows a create a digital twin of an each patient using their clinical data, making the one size fits all treatments obsolete. And I'm pretty powerfully, this is a statement and an opinion maybe from my side because I spend my lifetime to learn and understand this gap, and this will happen. The second is a significant shift in cardiovascular drug development, and maybe a bit happy news that new investors thinking that this is an open an opportunity to invest. And so I am not that disappointed that in the past they didn't invest. Now there are new thinking coming. There is a money here. We should invest, but how we can do it so that we don't fail in the large, clinical trial in the phase 3. And there are so many investment platforms claiming they are doing better. Which one is the best? So I think that kind of finding the right groups who also thinks that they want to create a legacy. They want to make a difference in the drug field. And it could be even part of the pharmaceutical companies might be thinking, the group's leaders thinking the same way in these groups. And then finding those people will make a difference because I think a new trend is more collaboration than tough competition that actually kill the new innovation or anything will come out because the competition is so tough that nothing good coming out for the patients. We don't want it. We want to collaborate and make it cost effective. and cost effective so that our investors' money is not wasted on competitive, but nothing coming out, but they are investing 10 different drugs. If they all work together, maybe under one portfolio, things will be happening faster. And the second, woman-led biotech innovation will probably grow in the next 5 to 10 years. Comparatively, it wasn't the last 5 to 10 years because of the women health issues, and the market is really large, and people are noticing and waking up saying that maybe we may need to create this differentiated, and then there's an opportunity here to grasp and also create the product, and there's money in the woman too. Now they have money, they are paying, and they don't want to get a drug for men, and that is not working. And that is why I think it's important to understand the trend. And AI is an open field that both attracts male and female collaborations and young generations. So you can attract more innovation in the field if you also solve their problems and needs, and also put them a vision of unmet needs. And because younger generations needs to come in with their hearts to do what we are doing now today, they have to do the next 10 to 20, 50 years, future problems. And this will come with the AI's power because things will get faster and quicker. But now you have to really allocate those budgets for the right inventions because that could get also confusing. What is going to happen? People needs to be focusing and one step at a time on the new ideas. Um, I think patient specific data and how to utilize the patient charts or the patient records properly and ethically, integrating them into innovation and developing drugs will be the next stage of new drug in the precision medicine. So those patient records and the data from that needs to be very carefully and ethically integrated globally into the drug development field, especially for cardiac and heart failure.
Absolutely. That's great. Let's talk or elaborate a little bit further anyway on scaling funding and business strategy. So what have been the key milestones in InvivoSciences' growth trajectory?
Well, our number one milestone was that when we raised the initial funding to develop the technology platform, we made it successful and developed the patents, and that was the Concordia platform, which is integrating three-dimensional cardiomyocytes from direct the patient right, and then the AI that is able to enrich the populations and bring them to the matching drug that similar patient group that we developed a drug for. And that is the first step because without a platform, you cannot identify drugs, and you cannot also enrich the clinical trials for that drug. So the platforms are essential. And also the second milestone for we developed first lead drug heart failure preserved ejection fraction is the patient database that to be able to enrich for that specific group who has a fibrosis on the heart. So our target among the all universe of 6.5 million people with heart failure, and half of them is preserved ejection fraction in the United States. Among that, we are going after a very specific group who has a fibrosis on the heart. And that we enrich already on AI with our database and our proprietary database, but we have to do this for other heart failure diseases. So that AI enrichment database have to be expanding, and that needs to be done with collaborations, with additional funding, and specific per disease. And that requires that you need to open your platform to others to come in and collaborate with you and meaningfully so that you develop what you are trying to develop, but also others can have an access to develop what other segments of patients that needs to have this help. As I mentioned, muscular dystrophy with heart failure focus also can benefit from the specific platform. So that is not only just heart failure, but there are other rare diseases that will be benefiting. And we need to develop the database further and expand it, and that is expensive. So that is the milestone that what we are right now doing is first we are developing our drug with the investment focus that what we are raising for the drug development, IVS 201. But in the future, once that is successful, I would love to find the partners that can enhance the database with us and also expand this approach to other heart failure drugs together in collaborative manner. And that will be very exciting future. But I have to go one step at a time. This has been already very difficult in raising first funding and then now drug funding that we have to raise. And that's a very different business. Two of them. Platform technology is different, drug development is different, but you have to have both to be able to access the platform. You have to enrich the clinical trials. You cannot just let go the platform, and that doesn't make any sense otherwise. That is why this together is very powerful. And also FDA and now opening AI-based, diagnostic companion diagnostic approvals are new and is evolving in the FDA. So regulatory compliance and how regulatory compliance will change in the next 5 to 10 years. We have to stay very close to FDA's needs and what they are doing and how they are approving companion diagnostic side. And those are all new areas that need to keep close attention and keep very good expertise. And you need to work with regulatory expertise in this area very closely and with FDA.
Excellent. That's great. I know InvivoSciences has secured some NIH funding. So if you could talk a little bit about that, and then also any advice that you might have, for biotech startups in a general sense, seeking funding or strategic partnerships, as we've talked about. Yeah.
Yes, first of all, we are very appreciative of NIH funding because, as I said, being a woman immigrant, woman-led biotech was already difficult for my team. They chose me because I had a big heart and I wanted to make it happen, and I had a purpose-driven approach. I utilized my talents, but not everybody could have stepped it to this long and could have stayed it this long without having a loss of father like I had. And I'm thinking that NIH is the critical for my scientist co-founders for their first validation of the technology, and each part of the technology needed to be validated because we are not talking about one technology. We are talking about validating human heart models from the animal models, from 3D validation, from the 2D validation. So this is lots of different technologies evolving and pharma validating, scientific world validating, NIH validating through their grants and phase 1, phase 2, fast track, all kind of grants that is in the purposeful here. And that was a critical, and I encourage everybody who is in the first stages to apply and to try. And they are not easy. They are very difficult. They don't come on time. They take a long time to come. And you have to write maybe several times and apply. So it is not an easy thing like I am talking. But the good scientist knows how difficult it is. Sometimes you need teams, collaborations, and subcontractors to be able to make it happen. But it can happen. And once it happens, when scientific validation happens, then pharma is more open to you to see the validation of science and how that will work with their scientists. And the second stage, I think, is the pharma validations, pharmaceutical companies, commercial validations, academic partners validations, and academic lab validation. So it is a stage by stage, very conservative, but at the same time long process to take the validation. So you need really those grants, early grants, in help. Currently, I know that there's lots of challenges coming, but I am sure it will continue to make United States competitive globally. Those grants in the future will be very critical to stay competitive, to keep the patent position in the United States against the global competition is extremely important So I just want to encourage that whoever the leaders and decision makers continue giving those grants to the rightful companies with good technologies and the scientists who dedicate their life to this development, because this is not easy. Investors won't fund anything without seeing the data, prototype, the early signs of technology or products. So the scientist needs to support, and not every university will take on every challenge. And that is why we cannot expect, sometimes we also need private initiations, family funds coming together to fund those scientists as well. So I just don't think that government have to do all. And I think we need to have new collaborative models to make us competitive in the United States.
100%. So let's talk a little bit about your vision going forward. What are the I guess the longer term goals for In Vivo Sciences, and maybe if you can share any upcoming projects or initiatives that you're particularly excited about.
Yes, I think my immediate goal to get the IVS-201 drug, lead drug, to the clinical trials, and to get the FDA meetings completed with it will need funding. And so I'm raising funding actively. So I'm seeking investors and strategic partners who will come in and make this happen together with us, or investors who would like to come and collaborate with us in this path. And the second exciting piece, as I mentioned, we have heart failure preserved ejection fraction and few other heart area pipeline, but the clinical trial AI patient specific clinical trial enrichment part of technology needs to be expanded. Database have to be expanded. So we need to have more patient data coming into and build into for other unmet needs of the heart failure diseases, even in the muscular dystrophy, even if there's a children area, but this can be implemented and rare diseases. And the database have to be expanded and protected. And this also require a collaboration with the major hospitals, which we have several, but at the same time, I think experts who want to make this happen in their field, we need to collaborate with those people, and other AI people who are building these databases needs to be part of it, and regulatory of how to regulate these databases needs to evolve. So it is not just a matter of mine. I think it is beyond me, but I am just a simple servant leader here trying to do my part, and maybe it inspires other individuals who have much bigger power and networks than I am to come step up and then maybe do the collaborative work, because there's still no drug came after my father's passed, and I would love to see next 5 to 10 years a new number of drugs coming for heart failure, precise drugs, and so that people heals rather than waits for that drug and nothing happening with the drugs they are taking. One other factor I wanted to say here, hospitalization rate is significant. So, and I'm a financial individual. My background is finance more than a science. And when you look into the money that people right now in each state and taxpayers paying hospitalization of heart failure preserved ejection fraction, group of patients, because there's no differentiation in the drugs. They are keep coming to the hospital. There's no drugs helping them not to come again to the hospital. And that is debilitating. They cannot work. They cannot breathe, they cannot exercise. These people sitting home, and this is not a good thing for society, especially if they are providers. And so when we see this, the money amount for rehospitalization, this is one of the highest rehospitalization rate of a disease for the heart failure area. So percentage of it, if they invested into drug development, percentage of this rehospitalization, they will have a drug much quicker. And that is just the mathematics of a financial world, but they have to look differently when they are looking into the cost of not having an opportunity cost of not having the precision medicine in this field. And this is a severe unmet need, and NIH also putting lots of effort is significant. So I am calling with your platform to many people saying, please come and let's make this together happen, and let's can transform the precision medicine and heart failure together, if possible, collaborate together. And I'm open for and welcoming investors and partners at this time.
That's fantastic, Ayla. Really helpful in understanding that piece. But speaking of that, how can listeners connect with you and stay updated on in vivo sciences developments?
I think they can connect with me through the www.invivosciences.com, or if they can Google Ayla Annac, Ayla at LinkedIn. And this it's very easy for to access to me. I am very responsible for getting back to individuals fairly quickly, 24 to 48 hours, because I travel. And also that I could be found in an AANNAC at invivosciences.com. That is my direct email. They can reach out and we can make the quick and engaging discussions, brainstorming, and let's see what we can make together or how we can support. Maybe they have better than we have, and maybe we can be a support to their collaborative effort. So we are a very humble team of beings, but we want to make this happen in our lifetime, if possible.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts, Ayla, or advice you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, I want to encourage young scientists and young entrepreneurs and young financiers. Why I say young? Because it takes a long time to make it happen. So I was young once, and I spent lots of years. You have to be stable individuals with lots of heart, patience, dedication, effort, stability, and their intellect and their expertise. So you cannot just have young people only. But what is important that you need leaders that will not give up. You need leaders that is persistent, and you need people that is humble, not arrogant, so that others will come and they will learn from others and they will work with others. The ideas can flow. I think that is the new future that I can see with AI being and platform being and global, everybody is coming together. The workforce is different. So the adjustment of this new speed, the new changes, how AI will affect human health, how patient records will be implemented, and new thinkers will be needed. So we need all kind of people committing, and I hope that they solve lots of unmet needs exist in the health area still. And maybe not just drug only. There are many parts of it. How to access the patient records properly, ethically, how to work with the global pharma and global records, global clinical trial recruitments, how to make them centralized or decentralized and still accurate data, how to make the scientific data stronger and not manipulated. And these are important things, that how to build tools, scientific tools, to help people make decisions on the new biomarkers, more patient-centric biomarkers, more sensitive biomarkers. And those things, I think, will come with more people coming in. I don't want them to shy away because it takes a long time, because there is so many help around, but you need to figure out where they are. NIH uh, is a very strong pillar, not only NIH, but very government funding, many areas of government funding. NCI was the same, even FDA. Those funding facilities and leadership needs to stay strong, because without them, competition in the United States will be derailed. And I think today I am just making that voice, saying that woman-led or man-led is not important. You need good leaders. You need good leaders, stable leaders, to make things happen in the strong and the difficult times, unknown times. And so that is why you need to make this a little bit exciting for people, not so scared, because that otherwise innovation will delay, people will not come and invest in difficult field. And we will really need people to step up on difficult field, so that things are happening. And that is my last call. I think I did it. It's not easy, but I think more of us is necessary here. And thank you for making your leadership happen, for making these voices be heard by your network, because without individuals like yourself, many of the science will be so silent. They are working hard, but they are not being heard by the investors or the communities that who can collaborate with them. So your making your voice and making your platform, making that visible is very important. We are doing our part, but I think your part is really necessary. I hope that is successfully be continued initiation from your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayla. We appreciate that. So that wraps up this episode of Executive Insights for Life Sciences Innovators. We appreciate you tuning in and hope you found today's conversation valuable. If you enjoyed the discussion, please be sure to leave a review and share it with your network. Please also mark your calendars for May 19th at 1 o'clock Eastern Time with Darren Dasberg, the CEO of Claris Biologics. Thank you for listening.